Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
Dr. Premji Nirmal is a spiritual scientist. He is our first speaker for today, and here is his introduction. Born in 1960 as a graduate in electronics engineering and has done a postgraduate study in cybernetics, psychological counseling, and Eastern wisdom. He is a certified counselor and Eastern wisdom. He is a certified human trainer. He has done extensive research in the area of stress management, emotional intelligence, and spiritual intelligence, meditation and breathwork therapy. He has been a visiting faculty in various management institutions, including Wellinger Institute of Management, the IIT Porvai, and many corporate training centers. He is known for his sharp edge Western scientific approach, balanced by deep, insightful Eastern wisdom. Prem Nirmal experimented seriously with meditational practices suggested by his mentor Sri Dada Gavand from Velu Hills, Thane in 1991 and had an explosion of silence, an experience in July 1992. He remained silent and in semi-solitude for 5 years, which he calls as the years of maturing. Prem Nirmal received knowledge from Kriya Yoga from Mahavatar Babaji as grace, and he is now spreading Kriya Yoga world over on as his mission. He is the founder of Tao Anand Spiritual Center at Thane. Thank you, Dr. Prem Nirmal, for being our first speaker. And your topic for today is Science of Miracles. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you. You can go ahead, sir. Sir, unmute, please.
Good morning to everybody, and thank you very much, Sanyukta, for nice introduction. At the onset, let me thank Dr. Yugandhar and the entire team for giving me this platform to talk to such a wonderful audience from the world over. So let's start with the science of miracles. You see, as a young engineer, scientist, I had been interested into magic. So I used to attend a lot of magic shows. What I understood that every magic has a underlying mechanical structure. And it is because of the mechanical structure and the lighting and the illusion created by the magician that people enjoy the magic. But today we are not talking about that kind of magic. The topic is science of miracles. Miracles are different than the magic. It has no mechanical structure. Then how is it different from the magic? The miracle is something that we experience as something unknown to us, but it has no mechanical structure. There are many such miracles. As a young scientist, engineer, I recorded. And one of the things I can share with you, many of you were there. In one of the conference I attended, our ex-CBI director, Dr. Karthikeyan was there, and brother Reverend Alex Orbito, he rubbed his hands and produced a crystal ball on the head of Dr. Karthikeyan. I was in the first row and I took a picture of that. So this was like a live demonstration of creating the miracles, creating a crystal ball out of nothing just by rubbing the palms, and this was done on the head of a ex-CBI director. So there was no hand tricks or there are nothing like that. and it is video recorded. After that, I took a team of 45 people with 2 research scientists, doctors with us, and we went to Philippines and we experienced this psychic surgery by Reverend Orbito, and our doctors confirmed that there was no trick or there was no hypnosis or mesmerism. It was all honest, genuine, and scientific in nature. So these were the incidences that really motivated me to understand how the science of miracle works, because I'm a scientist at heart, but I'm also the mystic because of the mystical experiences which happened during my serious experiments with meditation. So I started understanding both the sides, the mystical aspect, the spiritual side of it, and being a scientist, I started understanding the science. Sometimes I felt that there is a tremendous amount of conflict between the two whenever I was not meditating. Whenever I was meditating, I started understanding that there is absolutely no conflict between the two. It is the different part of the same whole, but if we approach from that wholeness, we do not experience any dissonance or conflict in our being. Tremendous amount of possibilities exist for the human beings all over the world to get into that conflict-free unity consciousness, which is the very essence of world parliament that we all are part of it today. And that I consider as the most miraculous aspect. And I'm going to talk about that. It's not the science of miracle where we ask the question how to teleport something or how to produce the vibhuti from your hand. Those are the trickeries. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ultimate science of miracle where enlightenment becomes possible, where Buddhahood becomes possible, that beingness becomes possible, being centered becomes possible. That is the ultimate miracle, and that is the ultimate science of miracle that we are talking, my dear friends. So how do we approach this subject? You see, the human brain has the potential, it has the capacity. We all have IQ, intelligent quotient. Little higher than that, we all have certain amount of EQ, emotional quotient, based on emotional intelligence. We are human beings, we have emotions, and depending on our self-awareness, our degree of EQ, the emotional quotient will vary. The more self-aware we are, we have the better control over emotions, and we become better human beings emotionally. One step further, there is SQ, which means spiritual quotient, based on spiritual intelligence. So, my dear friends, in 1999, I read a book, Spiritual Intelligence, The Ultimate Intelligence by Dana Johar and Ian Marshall. This couple did a wonderful job of promoting SQ world over. It became a talk of the town in many spiritual circles because here we are talking about the science. When we use the word science, it means something, some parameters are there, some measurements are there. Because we can measure, so we can compare, and so we can understand that we are growing in certain dimension. This is the very fundamental of science. Now the conflict with the miraculous is that which is enormity, infinite, that which is the substratum of all. We call it as the consciousness, Atman. How are we going to measure that? That is immeasurable by nature. The Brahman is immeasurable by nature. So naturally, it seems that there is a conflict You can't have the measurable aspect, the science aspect, with the ultimate, the Brahman. But that is not so. A scientist who is open to learning, open to listening, open to understanding, not jumping at conclusion or argumentation. Such a open-minded, open-hearted scientists will understand the science of miracles, my dear friend. It's not difficult. It just needs a little different approach, that's all. That slight gear shift in our consciousness can help us understand the science of miracles. You see, the heart rate variability parameters are very much measurable. I appeared in a laboratory in year 2008 at Sultan Qaboos University in Muscat, which is one of the best setup in those days, one of the most advanced setup. So as an Indian yogi, I was introduced to this team of scientists, some of the best in the world, and they challenged me whether I can demonstrate what I'm talking in the laboratory. I accepted the challenge. They measured. They put electrodes all over my brain, on my heart, and so many other places. They put all the wires into the computer and they did the measurement. If somebody is in the unity consciousness, there is no dissonance in the heart. Okay, so the heart rate variability is fantastic. Those parameters are measurable. Another thing that scientists can measure is by putting the electrode cap on the head, they can measure the waveforms that the brain releases. Normally, when you are active, you are into the beta wave. Little more relaxed, you come to the alpha frequencies, which is from 7 to 13 hertz. If you go a little more into the relaxed state, meditative state, you get to the theta frequencies. And theta frequencies are from 3 to 7 hertz. A lot of healing can happen. And if you go deeper into sleep or samadhi, you get into the delta frequency, 0.5 hertz to 3 hertz. These frequencies are of the electroencephalograph. Now, what is the difference in the waveforms of an enlightened person and an ordinary person? Ordinary person can get 4 states: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. One who is into that unity consciousness, centered in that, will have gamma waves, coherent oscillations across the brain. Those are not localized in the center. So there is a technique to measure these coherent oscillations across the brain, and various scientists have demonstrated 40 hertz oscillation, which is known as C40 scientifically. 40 hertz coherent oscillations across the brain. Some people have measured 70 hertz, 100 hertz, 200 hertz, 400 hertz. This also indicates that all the spiritual masters, the enlightened beings, Buddhas are same because they have the coherent oscillations, but they are different. There's a uniqueness of every Buddha. And what frequency coherent oscillations are there that represent the uniqueness of the master? How far deeper one has gone, that depends on higher the frequency, better the depth. So, my dear friends, today the science helps us to understand and measure something indirectly that is something considered as immeasurable. The moment we understand this approach, the conflict between the scientific aspect, which is measurement, comparison, and all that, and this the aspect of consciousness, which is the substratum of everything. In Vedanta, we call it as a Brahman. That conflict goes away once and for all. So anybody who lives, anybody who is centered in this unity consciousness will have no dissonance of any kind. In fact, that person will resonate with divinity, which is there in all the human beings, all the creatures, all over the world, everywhere, because that consciousness is the substratum of everything. And our challenge as a human beings on the planet Earth right now, being in the human body, is to have the first-hand experience of that unity consciousness. And that is the ultimate challenge. And I welcome all of you, all the wonderful people from world over who are listening to this talk. Welcome to take up this challenge to experience that unity consciousness within yourself and enjoy the life full of resonance with celebration and enjoyment of every kind. Thank you very much. I think my time is over. Sanyukta, do we have more time? Should I continue or?
You have about a minute or two, sir. You can
1 minute or two. Okay, fine. So how do we get into this state? You see, we have this mind, which we call the tip of the iceberg as the conscious mind. If you go a little more deeper, we can explore the subconscious mind, which is the storehouse of all our experiences. Little more deeper we go, we come to the unconscious habit patterns, which is the unconscious mind. And the major portion at the deeper level is the collective unconscious mind. This is what all the psychologists understand. This is the basic model of mind given in all the books of psychology. But this much knowledge will not allow us to understand the science of miracles. There is another mind that we need to understand, and I call it as the vibrational mind. If we understand the science of vibrations, we can understand the science of miracles. Everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, and the universal law is like attracts like. So if the human beings with the practices of meditation and various other spiritual practices like Kriya Yoga, Raja Yoga, all different types of yogas, and the spiritual understanding from Bhagavad Gita, various Upanishads, and all the spiritual literature available, we can actually start vibrating at the higher level, and the higher we vibrate, better the miracles we can experience. We can manifest whatever we want in our life, which is the practical example of science of miracles, by vibrating higher. So as a scientist, I launched my own term, which is known as PEVF, Personal Energetic Vibrational Frequency. My book titled as PEVF is on the way, will be released very soon. And we can understand the science of miracles by understanding personal energetic vibrational frequency. The higher we vibrate, the better we can manifest whatever we want. So science of miracles is based on the personal energetic vibrational frequency. The more we understand the vibrational mind, the more we tune into the vibrational mind, we can communicate better with the universal forces, and we can manifest whatever we want. The biggest miracle, let me tell you, is happening today is this World Parliament. In this Kali Yuga, nobody can imagine that 1,000+ speakers, millions of people are interested in this unity consciousness. What better miracle do we want? This is the proof that the time has come for the science of miracles. Millions of people are seriously interested in unity consciousness, doing practices and getting into this. This is the wonderful time. Thank you very much, Sanyukta.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving us so much clarity on unity consciousness and how miracles can happen with this beautiful vibrational change that every individual can undergo. Thank you so much. It's been a great honor to have you, sir. And there's a small token of our appreciation for you from our side. This is the least we can do on the digital platform. The World United presents World Parliament on Spirituality 3, and we are giving with gratitude a certificate of appreciation to Dr. PREMJI NIRMAL for being an esteemed speaker in the 3rd edition of the World Parliament on Spirituality 2020 Asia. Thank you so much, Dr. PREMJI, for your valuable insight. Kindly stay tuned. We'll have a panel discussion. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for this wonderful gift. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.